Welcome to Podnutz, episode number 63, the roundtable computer repair discussion. We get a couple of texts or a triple of texts. That means 3 on the show, and we each go around and they bring topics to the table as far as computer repair, and we kind of hash it out and see what each other's doing, what each other's techniques are, secrets, tips. We share them, and hopefully help you guys in your computer repair endeavors or your business or any type of computer repair work that you're doing. That's what we're here for. So let me introduce the guests right now, and we'll get started. First off, Steve D'Amico from StephenD'Amico.com. Yo.
Hey, hey.
What is happening with you?
Just working, being busy.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce Terry last because it's a sight to behold, and I want to build it up.
Yeah.
Not that Timster's shop is shabby. Nothing.
Don't even compare.
Tim Kelly from Tim's Computer Fix is the voice you just heard. You should know the Timster by now. What's going on with you, Tim?
Hey, Steve. Hello, everybody.
What's happening?
Just as Steve D, man. Been really busy.
It's great.
Nice.
I'm glad you guys are busy.
Yeah.
And behold, if this scene blinds you, don't adjust your screens. This is just one of the best-looking computer shops you're ever going to see. Terry Moon from ComputerPro1.com, pacing about in his glory in his awesome computer shop. What's going on, Terry?
How you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
We like your shop.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve. And while you're talking about that shop, you guys have to go to podnutz.com/live repair shops and check out Computer Pro's shop. You have to see it. It is awesome.
It is a sight to behold. Hey, Tim, do me a favor. Move your mic a little down. It's instead of keep going.
Okay.
Keep going a little bit farther.
Hello.
Keep going.
More?
Yeah, try that.
Okay. How's that?
Test 1, 2, 3.
Test.
It's perfect. Okay. And you were saying, Timster.
I was just ranting and raving about Computer Pro's shop. Can't say enough about it.
Yeah. If you guys aren't watching on video, you got to check it out. It's awesome. All right. Well, who wants to go first? You guys tell me. I'm just the person here.
I'll open it up. I'm
right.
kind of all over the place. I don't really have one main topic. I got lots of small topics, but you guys are more than welcome to comment on them. I'd like to hear your input. I've had a couple of computers come in this week, customers come in this week who are infected with a couple of different viruses. One of them is antivirus 11, but you know, that's not uncommon, but what is the way in which they caught the virus. I've had 2 customers come in this week alone who told me that they caught this virus through Skype. Now, you know, everybody knows that, you know, they're all trying to get, you know, trick you into clicking links on Skype, you know, through the texting and their little messaging there. They have their, you know, spammers and all. But in this case, they caught the virus by a phone call. Somebody called them through Skype, and the name on the Skype call while it was ringing, they said was service support alert. And when they answered it, they got infected.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, don't ask me how. I'm just reporting on what they're telling me. And okay, one customer told me that, and I was like, well, okay, maybe you thought it was that. But when the second customer came in and told me that, I was like, well, maybe there's definitely some truth to it. So, guys, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you know, your Skype phone rings, if your Skype goes off and someone's calling you and you don't know who it is, don't answer it because you could get infected.
It's good advice. Sounds good to me. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
No, I haven't heard of the Skype one. We're getting a lot of infections in the shop, but the Skype one's new to me.
It's an interesting one. Cool. So what do you do about it, Tim?
Well, I mean, basically, you know, I really, you know, well, just like I said, you know, you got to be, I guess, you know, just like you got to be careful where you click. You got to be careful.
I mean, how do you get rid of it? The Skype virus.
But, well, it's not the virus. I mean, basically, you just do your regular regimen of cleaning up to get rid of the virus. In one case, it was antivirus 2011 that was on the computer, but so that's the obvious ways of cleaning that up. Super anti-spyware, Malwarebytes.
Right.
It's just amazing to me, how, if that's the case, that's pretty brilliant of whoever is coding those viruses. I mean, to be able to call through Skype and infect a machine.
I know.
I really
don't
understand how that could be.
I hate calling these guys brilliant, but it's true.
Yeah. There were there's actually another there's one that I just received two of them in the I've received two of these. It's in a row. It's called Windows Recovery. I'm not sure of the method of infection, but all my clients are pretty much coming in saying, I don't know how I was infected. How did I get infected? They keep asking me, and I don't even know. I know my mom was infected like maybe 6 months ago through Facebook. I know that my mom wasn't looking at illicit things or cracking software or anything. So I know that she wasn't doing any of those things. The only thing, she uses two applications, Facebook and a real estate program. So, but I can tell you that the two that I got, this Windows Recovery one, it likes to hide the user's files and stuff, and it's pretty aggressive, because what it does is it says that the user has a failing hard drive, and both of the clients that came in with this were completely convinced that their hard drive is dead, even though this is the funny moment that I have in my shop. Client comes in holding a laptop. They go, my computer's telling me my hard drive has died. I'm like, wow, when does a computer say your hard drive is dead? So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it sounds like you might need this. I go through the regimen of what they might need and everything. And then they go, well, let me show you. And then I'm like, okay. So then they boot up Windows and then they show me the prompt from one of these fake antivirus looking things. And it's not in this case, it wasn't really a fake antivirus. It was actually it's just a program that says, it's just like a fake antivirus, but it says that their hard drive has failed, and that they've got memory errors and all this other crap. So
it's just to wreak havoc, not to make money? What did they ask for? Was it asking for money? Yeah. Well, it's to do what? To do what? To fix the hard drive problems.
But that's an awesome scare tactic, though. Now, to throw something up there like that, that your hard drive's dying.
Yeah. They believed it too. It works. But here the craziest part is if they called me on the phone and said that my computer's ahead. Well, they don't tell me. Here's the thing. They don't say my computer's telling me that I have a bad hard drive. They just tell me they have one. So they call up and say, hi, I have a laptop with a bad hard drive. And when in reality, it's just an antivirus from, it's a cleanup. But I quote them on a bad hard drive. And then they're not sure if they want to fix it. So I think the moral of the story is that everybody might get these clients calling up saying they have bad hard drives, and not necessarily, they don't necessarily do have bad hard drives. Yeah. Or failed memory or whatever,
So what does it do? Does it pop up like your regular ransomware, Steve? Does it throw up looks like a real window stating that the hard drives failed?
Yes, it's exactly
is that right? Does it notify them that way? So it just looks like a real Windows popping up, letting them know that their hard drive's dead or dying.
100%. Yep, 100%. It looks and acts exactly like the fake antiviruses that we all know and love. It's just that they're it's a classic garden variety scareware, but in this case it just has a different message, and it's fooling them in a different way, and they're saying different things, because we all know that when they get infected with these things, they usually just call us up and say, help, I have spyware, and you're like, yes you do. And it tells them what they have, which was kind of nice for them before, but this is different. This makes them believe they have a lot worse problems. I wonder how many people threw their computers out.
That's
amazing.
How do you get rid of it? Same way? Is it easy to get rid of?
Yeah, it's the same, pretty much the same steps. It's all, and actually, you know what? I'll go into my tip that I had for later. Maybe I'll think of something else, but this is my tip for later at the end of the show, was how to clear it up. There is one, this particular one doesn't just, the Windows, it's called Windows Recovery. That's the name of this one. It also has another feature. What it does is it likes to hide their documents, and it hides like a lot of stuff. In fact, it hides everything on the desktop, everything in their My Documents, music, pictures. It even hides everything in the Start menu, so they click Start and then it's just really nothing in all the all programs thing. So they feel, and it's all it's just got the hidden attribute, and of course you can unhide it all and see it grayed out, but it's a real nightmare clearing all that up. So my tip is, if anybody has this situation, you don't want to just go through everything and just unhide. It's not that easy. It takes a long time to get through all that, and you probably forget some of the stuff. So there's a program actually out there to fix this issue. I've already tested it out, and it works really well. It worked really well for me so far, and it's called unhide.exe. And let me see if I can get a link for you guys. Here's a link to a technical forum post with a link for it and everything.
So Steve, we're talking about the same scare virus that said the hard drive was dying. It also hides all the files and the folders. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's
Oh, wow.
really is identical in every way except for this hiding of files and folders. So I mean, it's very classic in every way. Even, in fact, the one that I had, this Windows Recovery that did this, I felt it was a little easier to remove than a few of the others. So it's not nothing a whole lot different except for this hiding of documents and stuff.
Well, so imagine that, being the unsuspecting user, and not only do you get this pop-up saying that your hard drive's dead, then all of a sudden you start dying. Then all of a sudden you start going through the files and you can't folders, and you can't find anything in your folders that used to be there. That's a double scare tactic, man.
Oh yeah, when I looked at it, I got the client in them. They don't know which way is up, I looked at it and I was like, I just saw a blank, desktop, and sometimes people have that. It's rare, but occasionally. And then I looked, and I don't know about other people out there, but I don't dig through my client's data. I don't care. I'm not interested in looking at their, pictures and things. But for this client, I remember them mentioning that they were missing data. And I was like, missing data. And he said, well, there's no pictures or something to that effect. And I kind of partly remembered, and I was like, let me take a look. So I clicked on it, and there was no pictures. And I was like, well, that's a little unusual not to have any pictures. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe they just don't, right? So I wasn't convinced. And then I double clicked on sample pictures, because that folder is still there. And the sample pictures were gone. And I was like, what are the chances that they deleted them? I'm like, there's no chance. So I was like, here we go. So that's when I started kind of I started going on the trail, and that's when I got the path down to unhide.exe and figured it all out.
Damn. Hey, Terry, what kind of spyware are you getting in your shop there?
We didn't get the Skype thing. We didn't get the one that Steve's talking about, but we get the rogue scanning virus variants like every single day. We get multiple ones every day. We usually our receptionist hands out a sheet. I don't know. Do you have our shop live? No,
Yeah.
On the cam. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but we always hand our clients a little sheet.
He's trying to show us a piece of paper.
He's gonna walk.
Hey, Terry.
You got to back up a little bit because the bottom third is doing it. You can see it on your screen, Terry, but keep walking back.
Oh, okay,
keep walking back. I'll tell you when it comes into view.
Steve's got it zoomed in.
I don't know if you guys can see a piece of paper from here or not, but basically it's a sheet that tells them how to not get infected. Because they're all they come in every day. I mean, we get tons of rogue scanning viruses, and they're all confused as to how they have all different kinds of antivirus programs running, and they still get infected, and they don't realize that when something pops up, and they walk in and say, but I said no. I hit cancel. I hit the red X, and you have to let them know. Well, that's cancel doesn't mean cancel. No doesn't mean no. Yes doesn't mean yes. It's all one giant button. It's all fake. And so we get those every single day. Pretty much.
Wow, Terry, you wouldn't believe the look on some of my customers' faces when I say, "Oh yeah," when you get the OK or cancel, and you click cancel. Guess what? You've been tricked.
That's you
you interact.
And the look on their face is like, You're
Right.
kidding. I'm like, no, dude.
What percentage
so-
of your customers actually buy it or give their credit
Yes.
card out?
What percentage, Tim? Do you know?
Half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Damn. How about you, Steve D?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ask them. I ask them because I want to be sure. Because if they did, they really need to keep an eye on their credit card
I should.
or
I really should be.
whatever they use to pay. I mean, they should kind of keep an eye on it or report it or something.
Definitely, especially when you charge them the bill on your, and you charge your credit card, and they think that that's your charge is the fake charge, and they reverse that. That's always fun.
Well, I never thought of that actually. You got me concerned.
A couple
I did
people
tell 'em.
have reverse charges on my card because it comes up Geek Force, and they have no idea what that is.
I do tell them that it's a scam, and I make sure that they, at least before they leave, that they know that they knew that it was, that the whole thing was completely fake, and sometimes I'll run it and I'll show it to them. I'll say, look, the thing that this thing is saying is just garbage. It's not really finding anything. It's like a movie. That's how I explain it. That what they're seeing is really kind of a movie more than anything real.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Or you know what you can say? It's like a movie, or it's like a video. So just say that thing it's just like a video. It's not really real. It's not really scanning your documents, and it's not really finding these viruses and spyware. It is the spyware. It is the virus.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. I guess if there's a way you could instruct them that any interaction with this stuff is bad interaction, then that might help too. All right, Timster, thank you very much for bringing that up. Why don't we start with Steve D, and then we'll go to Terry for topic.
Sure. Actually, I could probably have a short one. Maybe it's a short one, maybe it's a larger one. It's up to you guys. I currently use absolutely no social networking to promote my business. I mean, no, I have a Facebook account for my business. I made it and it took me like 5 to 10 minutes. I kind of looked at it, uploaded like a picture of my shop, the outside, and then I just kind of tilted my head, looked at it, and went, okay, and then I just never saw it again. But I'm wondering, I mean, it's a pretty hot topic out there right now. There's a lot of books on promoting your business with social networking and all this other stuff, and Twitter and.
Can I put in my yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll put in my 2 cents. You guys know I don't have my shop anymore. I never, even when Facebook and Twitter were around when I had my shop, I never looked at it as a marketing tool because social means not business. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like an opposite of what you would think. Now I'm sure there's ways. Lisa Hendrickson had put out a book on it. I didn't read it, but there's ways and there's books on it at the store on how to do it. But to me, when somebody wants a business, they go to a business type. They do a business type search, like a Google search, or they look in, believe it or not, the yellow pages, or they go to like a business directory type place. And that's where I was focusing my efforts. I mean, social just doesn't seem, unless you're friends with all these people, like what? I never used it. I need to be enlightened, I guess.
I guess it could possibly work in like the Facebook scenario, but I think Steve, I do think that Facebook's a lot different.
How would it work?
Days.
Tell me an example of how it would work.
I mean, I'm guessing I'm not using it this way, but I'm kind of guessing that maybe if you set up a Facebook page for your business, and we will have. I mean, I'd say maybe like 10-20% of clients that are just like they're just like, oh my god, about your service, and they just want to like.
Oh, so they'll link to your Facebook page. Okay, I could definitely see that, and that'd be great because that's word of. I guess that's almost as good as word of mouth, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they have you as a like, and maybe that's a little bit of like a small reminder, having that in the list of their likes, and then maybe their friends see that, and I guess it could possibly kind of move on.
That's a good point. See, I'm not on Facebook. I didn't even think of that. I have no reality and knowledge of that, so that's a good point.
Well, you don't use Facebook.
Yes, I know, but
yeah. I'm not using it, so I mean, I'm just a thought. I'm not even sure. What do you guys think?
I would do it. We're just starting to do it now. We're kind of behind the curve, I guess. But I mean, the big thing is it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So that alone is awesome. And everybody's doing Facebook. We put coupons on there and photos of the shop and stuff. So, and the fact that it's free, but that alone, you should do something with it.
I guess so. Damn, I'm so out of the loop.
I'm not on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook kind of guy. My business, I did, however, try to advertise through Facebook, not with having a Facebook page on my shop per se,
With those ads.
but I was using the ad tools that you can use in Facebook, and I wasn't happy with it at all. I had it up for like 2 days. It was buggy. I wasn't doing what it was supposed to. It sets up almost like Google AdWords.
Yeah, I remember using it when it first came out.
And it stunk. And to me, their interface is almost like trying to copy Google AdWords.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, the first day, I mean, it was just buggy. And then
What do you mean
whenever
buggy? What do you mean
I
buggy?
contacted support on it, and
What
they
do you
said,
mean buggy? What do you mean buggy?
what do I mean buggy?
Yeah.
Well, my ad wasn't showing up.
Okay.
And it would only show up, certain times. It would only show up, it didn't do anything that I had it set for. And, to the point where I ended up having to contact, support through their support button. And they said, oh, well, basically all I'm going to tell you is just to delete your account and start over. I said, forget this. I'm done.
Jeez.
Damn.
It seems like you don't. Advertising on Facebook doesn't work. I mean, the only advertising I ever see on Facebook is it's always for something that's like half a scam. Like you click here for your free iPad 2. It always seems like crap like that. And some like super hot chick.
What do you mean scam? You know how many iPad 2s I got that way?
Steve's, but that is pretty interesting. I think it is. Steve's on to something about using, the social aspect as a, as a tool, almost as a tactic, to get more eyeballs. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know how you. I think the big trick is, at least I don't know if it even. I don't know. Will people like you on Facebook? I mean, I don't know. Like, will they add you? Will clients actually give a crap enough to, after the transaction's complete, to actually, take that step? I guess maybe,
if you nudge them along and let them know that they should do it, maybe give them something, a coupon if they like you on Facebook or something. Again, I'm going to stay out of this. Cool. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
10% off if you add us.
Like your invoice when you're done, be sure it's in bold print or in color somewhere. Follow us on Facebook.
Or put a put a little what looks like a coupon kind of thing. If you're friends with us on Facebook, you get 10% off or something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or you could blackmail them, and if they don't like you, don't give their computer back. Terry, Terry, what do you think about well, you're on there. What are you guys doing to promote on Facebook? Anything, or you just slapped up a page?
Yeah, we just put the page up not that long ago, and it's kind of cool. Everybody's doing it. I think the type of business you have, it makes a difference. A repair shop, depending what you're putting on. I mean, it's great for coupons, and if you're running some deal, you can post it for free, basically. There's a coffee shop in our city that uses it quite a bit, and they'll post things every day, what soups they're having that day on sale and so forth, and they seem to make a great use of it. So I think it depends on what you're using it for, but I think it's definitely not a fad. I mean, it's here to stay, so we should take advantage of it somehow. I
totally agree, and I totally don't follow that, but I totally agree with you. I think you're right. I was hoping it would be a fad. Personally, I was hoping it would be a fad, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way.
Well, look at MySpace. MySpace was ridiculous,
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to go away.
Well, I mean, something had to replace MySpace, and Facebook certainly did more than that. But it certainly took all the MySpace users away from MySpace.
Yeah, but you never saw like MySpace on like the local news giving links and stuff like that. It's like, I guess it was a little ahead of its time. I mean, but not, Facebook is just everywhere. You look, there's a link for it. I mean, everywhere. Like even freaking lawyers, they do cheesy commercials for lawyers, the ambulance chasers on TV. Even they're saying go to their Facebook page now. So it's too mainstream.
Hey, man.
What?
Man, there's nothing wrong with chasing ambulances.
Yeah, but they never had Twitter links and Facebook links.
I know. Just messing around. Well, okay. Well, here's another one. Screw Facebook, maybe, but what about Foursquare? What do you guys think of that? I don't know if that's even. Does anybody use it?
I don't.
I don't.
I'm not.
Wow,
I'm not
okay.
in the social media. I just don't use it.
Next. Or,
Yeah.
no,
Well, let's talk about it. Do you use it?
you know what? Actually, I signed up for it because my shop's not on there. So I was like, okay.
Well,
First, I looked.
who's the governor of your shop then? Is that what it's
Nobody.
called, governor?
There's no mayor.
Mayor.
Nobody can be the mayor of my shop
Why?
because nobody could possibly show up there more than me.
Oh. Well, can you
That's how that-
exclude yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I know a little bit about it. I just know the basics. But I can tell you this. Like I signed up for it. I don't sign up. I actually put my shop on there, and then I was like, oh, cool. All right. Well, it's free and whatever. And it's supposed to get like a little window cling that I put myself on this stupid thing, and I was like, all right. I got all motivated for about 4 seconds before and about 5 seconds afterwards, and I rubbed my hands together and everything, and then. Well, I mean, I was mostly excited about the window cling that I was going to get. I think I was going to get a window cling and a sticker, and I was just so excited by that. They never sent it.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm
Screw that.
over.
Terry, do you guys use Foursquare at all?
No, compared to Facebook, Foursquare, I just looked it up.
Where are
and
you?
so I wasn't familiar with it.
Okay. Either the video froze or you disappeared. But are you just still there, Terry? Okay.
He's lost.
Back to Terry in a second. Yeah, he was like a little ant rolling around in there, and then he's gone.
It really looks like an ant farm in there.
Damn, it's his turn too. Steve D, do you have any? You said you had a couple, maybe. Or,
All right, guys.
Oh, there he is. Terry, you there?
Yeah, man, I had to take a bathroom break. Real quick.
I love
Sorry.
that, like right in the middle of the conversation, like while we're talking to him.
I thought I could still hear and talk and everything, but
We couldn't hear you. I'll tell you what. Tell us your topic, Terry, before something else happens over there.
I was going to do the free estimate thing. The only thing, and I don't know if we talk about previous cases or PCs we had in or anything, if that's common on Podnutz, if that's the norm.
Oh, yeah.
If so, we had a weird one today that I wanted to let you guys know about.
Sure.
We did work for another company. They called us and they had a small business server issue, or so they said. They said they had a small business server environment and they had Exchange and they had a mail problem. Nobody could send mail. And we're like, okay. So we show up there, and this place is a pretty big operation. And they have for a small business server setup, normally we would see, one server, obviously running SBS. In their case, it was 2003. And they had like 6 servers in this rack. So we're kind of wondering, it didn't look like a small business server setup, that 6 servers sitting in a rack. It just, something didn't add up.
Right.
But sure enough, they were running small business server. The small business server was named Exchange server. So I don't know if that was their cheap way of getting Exchange by itself, and you know what I mean? Because there's that 75 user limit. But I don't know if they were the Exchange. It just didn't look right.
Right.
So they had us talk to their old IT guy, who, ironically, they fired because his wife stole from the company and is being charged with a felony or something. So the first thing I said, do they have like your passwords? Are they a disgruntled employee? They sound like it. And he said, oh yeah. So I said, well, we should probably change them right away, because and he said, well, as soon as we let his wife go, things started happening. Mail wasn't working and this and that. So we kind of figured out that maybe he got back in and did something bad to the system.
That's a really smart thing to do, as his wife is being charged for a felony.
Right. So at any rate, we get there, and in Active Directory, the Exchange server shows up under servers somehow, and it has a red X in it. So we right-click, we enable it, which is odd, and mail kind of starts working except for the main guy. So we go to the main guy's PC, and his Outlook just doesn't connect with Exchange server. It just says not connected for the most part. I mean, it tries, but then it disconnects.
Yeah.
So based on that, we're trying to troubleshoot it and figure it out. And just out of curiosity, where would you guys start with that? Like what would be your troubleshooting steps, I guess? If mail works but Outlook doesn't connect, well, I guess you don't know at this point. You just right click and enable the Exchange server, which for some reason in Active Directory it's not enabled. And he's not getting mail with his Outlook. It's Outlook 2007. And what would be your thoughts or where you'd start, I guess, with this?
I would walk around aimlessly with a big question mark over my head and a blank look on my face. And anybody who has worked on server would probably look at me and want to slap me. I have no clue is what I'm trying to say. How about you guys? I just don't work on it. What are you guys? Tim, go ahead. Say it again.
Check your ports.
Timster, I got to call you back, man. I have really low and getting a really not good connection. I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Steve, you're still there?
Yes.
Okay.
I see Matt in the chat room said try OWA.
That's who you want to talk to, yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what I did. I did a host name on that particular Exchange box. It was Exchange SVR.
Hang on. I stopped the recording. I stopped the recording. Hang on, Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep.
Go ahead and start now.
Yep. Yeah, I see Matt in the chat room there, and that's exactly what we thought. Try Outlook Web Access. And so we logged in with that, basically server name /exchange, and we logged in, and sure enough, everything worked. We sent a message, received it. So Outlook at the back end anyway, and mail going out, coming in, everything was working good. So at that point, enabling the Exchange server seemed to get mail going, and it just became, he had multiple issues. It just became an issue with his particular station with Outlook. Couldn't send and receive mail, but it wasn't connected for the most part. Okay, so at that point, what would you guys do? Wow. Knowing that Exchange is functioning through Outlook Web Access.
Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would call a man just like Matt Rainey or his company, and I would hand them the business and step away because that's not what I handle. So I'm out of this one. But Matt is in the chat room and he says, see if the mailbox is still there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. I'm thinking I'm so used to Podnutz Pro. I haven't seen Podnutz in a while, and I forgot that we're probably not server guys or something. But yeah.
Well, so Matt was going to be on tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Matt was impossible for being on tonight. It would have been nice if he could have jumped in. But.
Yeah. To make a long story short, his DNS settings, because at some point he also had a link in his browser that pointed to his domain.com, and so we're thinking, because there's 6 servers or whatever they had, they wound up hosting their own web server, and ironically, Matt will probably get a chuckle. They had a WatchGuard firewall in there. The big red box. But he didn't have a DMZ, or he didn't have he was hosting his own public facing web server, but I think it was all on the same side. He didn't have it separated out, which is not good for the most part. But at any rate, it wound up being they went through AT&T for their internet, and his DNS server, his server 1, was the AT&T address, which, as everybody knows, for a server running Active Directory, you have to have the server's address as your DNS, otherwise it can't find things. So it just wound up being that. So we switched his DNS around, and of course he doesn't know how it got that way, but we're thinking maybe the disgruntled ex-employee somehow got in his system and switched things around for him.
Probably.
Wow, that sounds like it could be the case. Yeah.
Yep.
You guys have do you guys send the guys out to do that? You have in-shop guys and out-of-the-shop guys?
Yeah, I mean, I actually went to this one. This was earlier today, for the most part.
Cool.
But my topic, I just want to throw that in really quick. I'm thinking it's, I don't know, maybe Podnutz Pro or something. I wasn't thinking that the guys aren't doing server stuff. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Is that your topic?
The topic is basically what I was going to talk about was free estimates versus diagnostic charges. We kind of talked about this in the chat room before, but there's a I know it seems like half the people do a free estimate and they defend it and say, well, I wouldn't get half the clients that I have if I didn't offer a free estimate. And the other half charge for a diagnostic charge. So I just wondered what your guys' thoughts, and then we'll tell you what we do on that.
I can tell you, I have a friend who says,
Sorry, hang on. I got to stop the recording again.
Oh.
Because Timster's talking, but do you guys hear him? I don't.
I don't hear.
I am really low now.
Hang on, Tim. Tim, you
Hello?
there?
Oh, there he is.
There you are.
Ah, well, okay.
We missed you.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Wow. I feel special.
All right, so Timster, let Steve D say something, and then you could jump in because we can hear you now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Steve D.
I think a good, what might be a good idea for that is for free estimates, but that's like maybe like over the phone, like which would kind of basically be what you charge, you know, like saying, oh yeah, I charge this much for that. Like I guess that could be an estimate, because if they say I have a broken screen on my laptop, that's an easy estimate. But a lot of course, I offer free estimates to my clients. I don't really post it anywhere, but you could offer free estimates, and you can kind of divide it where you go free estimates and then but a paid bench tests, or you could say free bench tests, but no free estimates. So it's just free bench tests, and that's it. And then that means that if you have a shop, that means they have to come in for the bench test. You know, at least you get them in there, because I guess that could be the trick to getting them in there, and the free bench test could be that way.
Well, ever since I've been in business here, and I do operate out of my home, but I have a whole separate building that's my shop and my own front door to my shop. But I've always hung my hat on it, and I've always tried to use keywords to get the customer's computer on my bench. Words like free estimates, free diagnostics. If I'll give you a free estimate, and if you don't, if at any time you don't like the price, then you can come and get your computer, and you don't owe me nothing. And everybody might think, wow, you must be losing money on the ones that say, no, I don't want you to do the work. Well, in my particular case, 98% of my customers go ahead and have me do the job. My whole point is to get them on my bench.
Right.
I have this, and it's been working well for me. And then until I ran this by Terry, and he told me the way he does things, I may be thinking twice.
That's interesting.
You're talking about me, Terry?
Yes, you, Terry.
Oh, with the 39. Yeah, we kind of do what Steve said, as far as we do have a free estimate per se, but we have a $39 diagnostic charge, and they're kind of not the same thing. See, we have flat rate pricing in the shop. I mean, we have hourly too, but 99% of it's going to be flat rate. So if it's just like going to McDonald's, to get an estimate, they're going to say, well, all cheeseburgers are not, 99 cents. I mean, it's just a fixed rate. So you can give them an estimate because your prices are fixed and it doesn't cost you anything. But if you have to rip a laptop apart, take a board out, solder a jack on it, do something like that, you can't do those for free and make money in the end. Doing enough of those free jobs are going to hurt you, I think. And I think the way we do it, it works out so well with that $39 diagnostic charge, because what we do is, if the laptop's not worth fixing, if it's just not, and they don't want to pay the $39, they either pay it, a small percentage of them pay it. A big percentage of them do our recycle program, where we say, well, we waive the $39 if you recycle it with us. And probably 95% of them say, oh, great, and they're super happy. They don't have to pay the $40. They're happy when they walk out. And we get a laptop. Sure, it's broke. Okay, it may have a bad board, but it may have good RAM, a good screen, a good hard drive, a good keyboard, there's so many parts on it that we just build this giant behind our wall here in our shop. There's tons of laptops and parts and keyboards and hard drives and screens, and it didn't cost us anything. Labor to do the diagnostic.
Do you guys just feel? Do you feel the genius flowing through the air?
Dude, that's really great because one of
It
the
is
biggest
good.
questions I still get in my shop is, "Hey, do you have any used computers for sale?" And sometimes I do, but I don't really get a big, large stock of old, parts and all. But that would be dang one freaking heck of a way
To get them.
to get them
Oh yeah.
to
Yeah,
make the
because if you
customer feel
don't,
like that they're
people,
getting something for nothing, and
yeah,
it's
and
really
they
a good
will
idea.
take them. If you don't charge them, if it's totally free, even if they're going to toss it in the garbage, they just for some reason, subconsciously, I guess, people just feel like taking their equipment back. I mean, they'll take it back, take it home, and throw it out.
Yep.
So
It's
if you
true.
charge something, and they either pay it, or if you tell them, hey, you don't have to pay it, we can recycle it, and waive the $40, and they're always happy. We haven't had one customer angry at that process. Everybody's like, oh, great, thanks a lot, thank you very much.
So
And we wind up with all these parts.
So when they come in, Terry, do you tell them when they ask, do you do free estimates? What do you say?
We say yes. What's it doing? I could tell you right up front. If if they say, well, I've got this infection, I've got this virus, $99.
Okay.
There's your free estimate right there.
Okay. So if the
all of
estimate
them are $99.
takes more than 10 seconds to diagnose, then then you do the take it in and do a diagnostic on it.
Right, right. If they say that, well, the laptop runs and then it shuts off, or I don't have video on the laptop, then we say, well, we have a $39 diagnostic charge. That does get applied towards repair, and so forth, and it just works out. If we fix it, but then it works out, they don't pay the diagnostic fee. If they take it with them and take it to another shop, then, which is, it happens. It's very rare, but it does happen. But we get $40 for our time, $39 to crack it open and look at it. It's not a lot of money, but it covers our time. It's better than nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if if it's not worth fixing, then we wind up with, there's just so many parts. Like I said, if it has a bad board, probably has a good screen,
Sure.
hard drive, memory, keyboard, everything else.
I used to love trade-ins. I used to love them. The ones that I didn't fix, they went in the Steve D pile. But I didn't. Most of it actually did go in the Steve D pile. But yeah, I always liked getting them because you're right. There's so many good parts on these machines still, even if one thing was broken. Awesome. Good one.
Yeah, there's another side to that. What could be
Yeah.
also done? That's a really good idea. But you can, if somebody doesn't like that idea, then there could also be. I've done this a couple of times where they really don't care about the laptop. So sometimes they've given it to me, but instead of charging the bench test fee or the estimate fee, or the diagnostic fee, what you could also do is take out their hard drive, put it into a cheap and external enclosure case, and then give it to them, and then they can take their data with them as well. And then an enclosure case is free because they're going to donate the laptop or recycle the laptop to you and whatever else. I've done that for people.
Well, when would you do that? You mean when they hedge?
If they start hedging, yeah, or sometimes I'll do that, or I try to spin the sale, make a and Podnutz Pro, Matt Rainey, he's in the chat. He said you instead of if customers doesn't want to. If they're not losing a sale because they don't want to not repair the laptop or the desktop, you could not only just do an enclosure, but you also can transfer the data to a working PC or to a new one. So if they go out and buy a new computer, they could have you transfer all their data and their settings over to that new computer, and then you could charge for that service instead of the actual repair service.
And this brings the question up that I ask you every time: why don't you sell them the new computer? If you know they're going to go get one, why don't you sell them the new computer?
Have it in the shop. Have it in the shop.
We do the data transfer process anyway. I mean that's part of our. If it's a really good laptop and it's newer and we can really use the parts, because parts, you figure the bezel around a screen. I mean, all those parts you can eBay out for quite a bit of money, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So if it's a valuable laptop, we'll do a data transfer, because usually the hard drive, their old hard drive, profit-wise, after you redo it, is going to be more valuable to you or more profitable than the profit you're going to make on selling an enclosure that we've found anyway. So we don't really do the enclosure thing. We'll rather than do that, we'll just transfer their data to their new system. And if we have to do it free of charge, we'll do a free data transfer.
But you keep the hard drive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
By the way, Steve D, not to seem like I'm keep bringing that question up, I didn't do it either in my shop. I think that's why I'm giving you a hard time.
You didn't sell?
No,
Yeah.
I told him to go to Best Buy and buy one and bring it back to me. I did it every time.
I mean, really,
Me too.
honestly, it depends on the type of computer they're looking for and what their needs are. But it's really tough to make a profit, or especially some of these bare bones.
But I have to
computers,
say, I don't know. I didn't try, and I have to say, if I did try and sell them a machine, they would want to buy it off of me because they've dealt with me, they know me, and they'll probably pay a little bit more if I tell them the machine I'm going to sell them is a good machine. So I have to admit, I didn't try. Really, Tim? So you've been trying it?
Some do, but
Okay.
a lot. It just really depends. Really, the higher end systems that they want custom built, they know they're coming to you because they want a custom built machine. Those you stand a chance to make more money on, and they're willing to pay more for than them just shopping for inexpensive computer that satisfies their basic needs. It's a little tougher for me to make a profit on that. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the main reason why I don't offer a lot of the times, or why I don't get customers wanting me to build them bare bones computers.
Yeah, I don't like doing that. It's just too complicated for me.
It's time. It takes too much time.
It's just complicated in the what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And how much do you want to spend? And things like that. I don't know. They don't know what the hardware. They don't know anything about the hardware. They just know it's nice and they know the difference between fast and slow and what's nice looking and and not nice looking. That's all they know. And then I don't know. It's just too much. It seems like it's just going to take too much time. And as far as buying laptops to resell for the shop, for me, it's not even just the complication of finding it, getting a good deal, and holding it. For me, whenever I do stuff like that, which it's not a bad idea, but every time I ever have anything like that in my shop or try to do something like that, it always ends up sitting.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Just for no reason, and it doesn't make any sense why nobody wants it. Like, I can get 7 people that will run in going, I need a laptop, I need a laptop, I need a laptop, and then I go, all right, I'm going to buy one now, and definitely there's going to be an 8th person, and then all 7 don't want it, and then the 8th, no 8th show up.
Really?
And it's like
Oh,
7 months later.
I was talking about when they're broken, they sit on the shelf. You're talking about after they're done and fixed, people still don't buy them?
Well, for me, if I buy something ahead of time that is maybe slightly unusual than the normal, stuff, it just sits for me. I don't know. I just get cursed with that.
Terry, do you guys sell new machines there?
No, we actually don't. We do on a consulting level, like for our commercial clients. We're about half and half. We're half residential. We support some townships and a lot of medical, and we do a lot of commercial too. So for those guys, we consult and function as their IT department. We don't retail out new computers, only because we actually do we used to do quite a bit of off-lease equipment, the whole business class off-lease Dells and so forth, only because we can, the profit margin, it seems like on a new computer, if you can squeeze out $150, if it's a decent system, but if you have to pay $700 to make $850, when I can spend $150 to make $300, then I'd rather spend $150, because I can buy 10 of them or 20 of them at a time versus, it just the profit. And I'm not a business major, so I don't know if you call that margin or whatever it is, but the ratio is not the same. It's much better to spend $150 to make $150 than to tie up $700 to make $150.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, very interesting. Good stuff, guys. Yeah. All right, why don't we do a round of tips, and then I'll read one email, and then that will be that. Who started off? Tim, why don't you give us a tip?
Okay. Oh, laptop screens. Definitely. All you techs in the States, anyway, in the United States, DV Super 999 is the person to go to for screens
on eBay. So it's DVD
on
Super
eBay.
999.
Oh yes.
Don't let. Is she still good? Oh my God, she's been selling for years.
Absolutely. And what I would recommend you do is go to her eBay store and go to the contact seller, and she has her phone number posted. do yourself a favor. Don't browse her store on eBay. Take that number and call her. She would prefer you to call her.
What?
Yes. And they are so helpful over there.
To call to order a screen?
Yes.
And what do you get? What do they want? The model? What do they prefer? Model number?
I mean, you know, the model number of the make and model of the laptop. In most cases, they will be sure that they have you 100% compatible screen. And the prices I have found sometimes by calling, you will actually get a slightly lower price on the screen than what she has on eBay. And also, there's tons of screens that she don't even have listed on eBay. So if you search eBay or for DVD Super and look for a screen that's not listed, chances are she does have it. It's just not listed. And she told me personally that she would just prefer to be, you know, called personally, called their store and order it from her. And just me, several other techs have just been using her constantly, and it's been great. So that's a tip. But what I want to say real quick, when you do customer screens, you know, and you're all done, be sure obviously to get your finger. Be careful putting the screen in. You don't want no scratches or no fingerprints because these people are paying for a brand new screen. So take your microfiber cloth, get every little speck of dust and fingerprint that you put on there. Be sure it is completely spotless, and then put this back on. This is the plastic that was taped over it when it was shipped. And when you're done, put that over it and use the tape, and then close the laptop down. That way, when the customer comes to pick it up, you know, they're going, and you open it up, they're going, oh God, you know, what's this tape? And then you get to like peel one side off and kind of, it's almost like cracking open a fresh screen to them. You know, you peel it back, you get this nice, beautiful screen, and it's just a little bit more of a wow factor to the customer whenever they come to pick up their computer. And obviously, what they're going to be looking at is the screen because they want to make sure they're getting what they're paying for.
Damn, that's a good tip. I like the open up factor, that wow factor.
Yeah, but some customers go, "Why you got tape on it? Like, what kind of a jackleg, you know, tech are you?" And then when I open up, you know, when I open the cover, when I open the bezel up, they're like, "Oh, I see." I just peel it back nice and slow, and there's that nice, fresh, beautiful screen, you know. And they're like, "Yeah."
You know what I've done? I've done this a couple of times. I can add a little to it. What you could do is leave it on. Just always
you
leave.
took my tip.
What?
When I'm just saying. I do the same thing when I install the screen, I leave that on, and this way you don't get any smudges on it at all. You don't have to clean it. Is that what
and then,
go ahead, Steve.
What I was gonna say is you always leave it on. Even you could, but directly before you're gonna put the bezel over the outer bezel around the frame around it. What you do is take a razor blade and cut the what is that? The masking tape. Just slice the masking tape on either side, but leave it like it's kind of like partially staying on, and then just put the cover on there, and then you can kind of and then the client or you can pinch it off.
Well, here's where you could get bit, okay, doing it that way. If you leave that on there and you don't test your screen, and to be sure there's not like stuck pixels, you know, like one stuck pixel that you missed because you left this on and you didn't test, could bite you in the butt.
Well, I do like a hybrid version of what you guys do. So I used to leave it on, install the screen right up to the point where you put it in between the rails, you know, where you screw it into the rails. Because I didn't leave the masking tape on. That's the point when I pulled the masking tape up. But I pulled up the masking tape on each side of the screen just off the sides. So the masking tape was just being held on the front. So I didn't razor blade the sides and cut the masking tape. I pulled the masking tape up. So the plastic was still on the front of the screen, but just on the front. And then I installed everything I possibly could with that plastic on until there was no way I could keep the plastic on, and I pulled it off. And I almost never had a smudge on the screen because I would just screw around the bezel, and it looked brand new. So I didn't have to wipe it, but I didn't do the wow factor of Timster of putting it back on when you're all done and pulling it off like it's a new car, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
I've done that with cellophane. I did that with, what is it, cellophane, like plastic wrap. What I do is I take it and If it's a new lid, I used to do stuff like that. What I would do is if it's a new lid, I'm always afraid something's gonna bump up against it and scratch it. Like the cord, the power cord, the little the plug end, the plugs, the metal part of the plug.
That's that thing scratches more things I've ever owned than anything. The end of a plug is the biggest culprit in the world for scratching things for me. Is that what happens to you too?
Yeah, well, yeah, it happened a couple of times with clients' laptops. So what I do is, I had a friend, another tech. He likes to give me laptops with and he puts the power adapter. He doesn't have rubber bands. I guess he doesn't believe in them or something. So he puts the cord on top of the laptop and then he wraps it with cellophane.
Oh, and cellophane. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then I kind of stole his idea and I expanded on what I do is when I change the lid, and if it's a new lid, what I do is I wrap it in cellophane, and then until the customer comes, that's when the cellophane comes off. Or here's another one. Here's another teeny tip. Take the cellophane, wrap it over the keyboard. If it's an old piece of crap keyboard, because what I've noticed is that you drop the lid and then you pick up the laptop and you put it somewhere and you bump the laptop around a little bit. What happens is, especially if it goes upside down, right? What happens? All the little crumbs and crap come out of the keyboard and stick to the screen. But if you put cellophane over the keyboard, then they don't pop out of they don't come up and hit the new screen. That's another.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because I'm always cleaning. I'm always cleaning the screen up, even though I didn't work on the screen. But that's one thing you want to do is clean the screen.
That's the first thing I would do.
It used to tick me off when I used to they open it up and there's like freaking lint and crumbs stuck to it because of the keyboard.
That was the first thing I did when a laptop came in is I would clean it out. I'd vacuum the keyboard with a small little wet dry vac with the brush end and just vacuum the keyboard, get all the chunks out, blow all the dust out of the heatsink fan, and then wipe the screen down. And so I didn't have that problem with the chunks, because the chunks, I try to get them all right when the laptop came in. Mainly because I don't like working on dirty laptops. That's mainly why I did it. But Terry,
Lysol wipes too. Lysol wipes are awesome.
Yeah, I actually use monitor wipes. So after I did all the vacuuming, I cleaned the screen with the monitor wipe, and then I just cleaned the rest of the computer with the monitor wipe after that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Terry, anything on laptop screens before we go into Steve D's tip?
Yeah, I love Timster's idea. That's awesome. This is kind of a funny note. I'm going to walk up and show you guys something again, but in stores soon, if you can see it. I don't know. Can you see that?
Probably not.
No, you're gone.
Really?
Yeah. I have to crop the picture to get you in view.
I see the cap.
Okay.
Yeah, we see the cap.
Okay, we see that.
Yeah.
There you are.
There you go.
It's a white bottle.
Right. It's far away. You can't see it, but that is
a spray bottle.
We're called Computer Pro, right? That is Screen Pro, our all natural green homemade screen cleaner.
What?
Customers ask for it every day. We're going to market it. Yeah, we're going to bottle it and market it. It's basically
simple green.
The secret magic amount. The secret is in the amount, but it's vinegar, alcohol, a little bit of alcohol, vinegar, and distilled water. That with a microfiber cloth cleans the crap out of screens in an awesome way. And our customers always ask us, they're like, can we buy that? So we're working on a deal with a local university to get it packaged and sold, which is kind of cool. But
that's
what we do
cool
for the screen cleaning stuff.
Super awesome.
Dang, man.
And he gave away the magic formula.
I know, dude. Thanks for that.
The secret is in the amounts, though.
Okay, secret's
you have to do it, because if you do too much of one, it's going to get foggy. So it's you got to get the amounts right.
All right, we'll get that at the after the show. No. Cool. Steve D, tip?
Yeah, I got my tip kind of really was the unhide EXE, which we started with, but I can give another one that's a little advanced, but what the hell. Speaking of screens, if you get any laptops in that have occasionally I get these where they I actually got a desktop right now that does this. Occasionally motherboards will die and they will throw video every time, but they're a dead motherboard. I mean, you can try all you like to fix it and figure it out, and you'll just never get it done. It's just it throws video but does nothing else. Sometimes it freezes in the boot, or or it freezes after the video, or it doesn't find the hard drive controller because it just never finds anything, no matter what hard drive you connect to it. There's all these different little issues that can happen for motherboards and still throw a BIOS screen, or even let you get into BIOS. So what I do with these laptops occasionally when I get them is I save them. I rob them of their pieces and their parts. I leave like about like maybe 128 of memory in there, something real cheap and almost garbage. And then what I do is rob the screen off of it, leave the LCD cable and the inverter, and test LCD panels with that. If you've got any LCD panels and you just can't get them to light up, a lot of times if the connector connects, you can put a different you can put like crazy shouldn't never be compatible screens onto other laptops. Like I've gotten 17-inch laptop screens to at least light up and show that they can receive and put out video on like 15 inches and laptops and 14-inch laptops.
I guess the LCD cable is more or less like a little VGA port going out, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the way I think of the testing, I mean, this is not a surefire way of testing anything. You know, if the connector connects, a lot of times it'll work. Sometimes the way I think of it is, if it doesn't work, right? If it doesn't throw a video, it might be a good panel. But if it throws video and it looks great,
then you know
it is a good panel. so yeah. That's the way I test. Occasionally I'll test panels if I have like a good stock of panels that are just kind of sitting around and I just don't remember or never wrote anything about them or where they came from, or if they're from dead laptops that you've never seen. You got this dead laptop that comes in, right? It's not cracked. You don't know if this is going to throw lines and you want to use it or you want to sell it or whatever you want to do with it. Then this might be a good way of testing those panels. Just kind of cool. And that breathes new life into those dead laptops with motherboards that are useless for anything else.
Good one, man. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks.
How about you, Terry? Got a tip for us?
Yeah, the whole tip thing, I was going through the old Podnutz shows, and it seems like every tip was kind of taken. So
that's all right. We take repeats.
I'm just going to bring up one that we were talking in the chat room the other day. One of the members there had a networking issue, and we're kind of helping him through it. You know, if you ever have a networking problem, can't get online, whatever, the basic steps that we always do, you know, drop to a command prompt, do an IP config all, make sure you have an IP address. Obviously, you know, if you have 169 or all zeros, that's not good. You have to have your normal address. If you do have an address, you know, ping a public IP address first, like ping like 4.2.2.2 basically. That's a public DNS box out there. So if you can ping 4.2.2.2 and you get a reply, then your IP stack is good, your network card's good, your router's passing traffic, you know, everything's good. Then ping by name, ping yahoo.com. If it says unknown host, if you can ping a public address like the 4.2.2.2, but when you ping yahoo.com and you get an unknown host or it doesn't ping, then you have a DNS issue. I mean, it's pinging by address, but not by name. Okay. And then the other thing that we do is you can always drop to a command prompt for some TCP/IP problems. You have to reset the stack. Sometimes we wind up in these, you know, these weird situations where if you drop to a command prompt and you type, or you drop to a net shell prompt, which is just type net sh, you get into like a little net shell. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's kind of like a little Cisco environment. You hit the question mark and you get the list of commands and so forth. If you reset the WinSock, just type WinSock, and then you'll drop to a net shell WinSock prompt, and then type reset, and then you have to reboot. That'll reset your IP stack. It's very quick. It's super easy to do. You know, as far as basic network troubleshooting. The other thing is on wireless issues, which is what we had the other day, which we're helping out with. Make sure your encryption is supported by both ends. If you have WPA2 or something on your router, make sure your adapter's driver will support that.
Cool,
I don't know. I didn't really have a lot for tips, man.
No, they were great. They were great tips.
Dude, that's
I
serious.
can submit a
good tips,
resume
man.
to a shop. You know, don't put that you work on the side. That's we get a ton of resumes in from kids, a ton of them, like every day, and they all put, I have my own clientele and I have my own little thing going out of my home and this and this and this. If you're looking to advance yourself and if you want to get in a shop that does a good amount of volume, don't, you know, omit that. Don't put that you do work on the side. Everybody does. I think they think it helps them, but anytime we see that they take care of clients on the side, it's such a big negative. Because think about it, you're training them to pretty much be your competition. I mean, so it's just a big negative to us anyway.
Great. That's an awesome tip.
Yeah, that is a good tip.
There were many tips. I just asked for one.
I think his real tip is how to compete with the Best Buy, and it's just be bigger.
What, looking at his shop?
Yeah.
Love that shop, man. It's the best shop ever. Let me read an email. You guys are going to like this, I think. It's from Jerry. He says, I get customers whose primary computer function is to look at porn. Please discuss, number one, how to get the customer to talk about this without embarrassment. Number two, the techniques and technology for browsing porn safely. Is there a safe commercial or non-commercial site that can be recommended to a customer? We all have encountered this issue, and we need to flesh out this topic. It's Jerry boldly saying that.
Wow.
I could give a little bit on that.
Don't give out porn site names.
Steve?
No. No. With Sandbox, I think that's the best way to put them in a sandboxing sandboxing applications. Some of them they're just gonna have to freaking pay for, and just get if you can get them in a sandbox. I had one of these guys. Who is, I mean, if I didn't put him in a sandbox, he would have called me every single month, and I knew every single time I went out there, like it took him like 2 or 3 months to call me, and his computer was just the most infected thing I've ever seen. I mean, some of the most wildest, most craziest infections I've gotten from these porn guys, and but once I set this guy up in a sandbox, he didn't call me for a year and a half. And when I did finally go up to him, I came up to and see him, and he was like, you know that's the program the Sandbox E, that works so good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If you know that's, I'll give my tip. I know Timster. I don't hope this didn't. I'm not taking yours. And I just came off the show learning with Linux for the rest of us, so this is going to have a twist on that. I installed Windows on one guy's machine, and I knew, and he actually told me that's what he wanted to use the computer for. And it seemed like he got infected instantly, so I decided to put Linux Mint on the machine. And it seems like if that's their main function on the machine, Linux all the way, because a browser on Linux, Firefox on Linux is Firefox and Chrome on any other machine. I mean, it's just so similar that you're not going to have problems. If they're using the computer for other work things and blah, 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 and then they're going to need Microsoft Word, okay, maybe Linux might not be the best thing. But if you know what their main function is, then he was so happy with Linux, I couldn't even tell you. And Linux Mint just he loved it. So I'm sure he did other things with his computer, but I think one of his primary functions was looking at the porn. Timster Terry.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Sandbox IE is what I do. And the porn guys that come back, more than once in a short period of time, you know who they are. Sandbox IE has kept them at bay, so it's worked for me.
And he says, how did this get the customer to talk about it without embarrassment? It's going to vary from customer to customer. It's a little thing called tact that you need to use.
I love when the customer says, "Oh, my brother got a hold of this. I don't know where he's been on this computer." Oh, your brother. Okay.
Well, let him. You know what? Let him have. Let it be his brother. Is what I would do. But also, one person wrote in and said it well. He said, like, if you're like, I can't remember. He said it lightly and politely, like, be careful when you're looking at the ladies or something like that. He kind of threw it in there like that. Like, I don't know if there's a nice light way you could hint at it without, and I don't know of any. I don't know. I didn't come up with any techniques. Have you guys?
I just call it careless clicking.
Okay.
I just say I forget exactly. Like I say, like bad websites.
Yeah, I think I said something too. Yeah.
Browsing the depths of the internet.
Or maybe you could it's how it's directed. Like you say, oh, some people say, oh, I'm going to like how people get infected, and it has nothing to do with that. Like some like well, so like I could say this, like you could say, oh, some people get infected because they go to porn sites, that sort of thing. Or be added to the list. Like some people get infected because they're downloading cracks for software, so they don't have to pay for the software. They get around that, and then they go look at porn sites, and then or they do this, or some people are getting infected through Facebook, that kind of thing. And
just throw it in there. Just throw it in there.
You inject it, yeah.
That's a good one. Good one.
Yeah, that's how I've done it.
Terry, ever had to deal with this?
Yeah, we actually have in our back of our office. We have a separate consultation room for that. We just paint it. It's actually pink and it has cartoon figures on the wall. It's very comforting. And then we just have them go to safeporn.com from that point forward.
No.
I'm joking.
Wait a minute. Stop. Did you guys believe him? I had this picture in my mind, and for a second I did. God, come on. You guys tell me. I don't want to feel like the doofus here. Did you believe him at all, in the least? Tim and Steve.
I believed him at first.
Okay. Tim? Okay. All right, good.
No, we did the between sandboxing and Linux. I mean, we don't, we've got, it's always the older guys. We've got guys coming in that are, God, they look like they're 95 and they'll have the most porn on their systems, and I mean, we don't have a problem with them, I guess, coming in all the time infected. If we did, we'd, definitely Linux or some sandboxing app or something would be the way to go to keep from getting infected again. But
yeah, those are the kind of guys that have all their folders right on their desktop of everything in it, labeled explicitly. The older people like that.
Actually, I got the program I used. I used Sandbox AE on this guy's computer, and I also installed this program, and this is the one I think really did it. It's called Return Nil, but it's not two N's. It's it's RETURNIL, so it's only one N, and Return Nil. It's a fantastic application. I think it's perfect for any of these guys. I think it's better than Sandbox IE, in fact, because what it does is it sandboxes the entire computer, so they can't do anything. They can't infect themselves. They can't do anything with the computer. Just browse the internet, and it doesn't matter what installs or what they gets through the anything like that. So, this really worked well with this guy, and I don't know if they have the free version anymore. I know when I first installed it on this guy's computer, there was a free version, and then they changed things around. I think there still is a free version, but it's definitely called Return Nil, and it puts like a button. It was really easy. He was not very computer literate, but it made like a button at the top of the window, like a window of the desktop screen, over everything, right in the center top, and it was like you just right mouse click on it and say like I think it was stop, and then it was like another one that was like which is go or something like that. It's been probably about a year since I've actually seen the guy and used this program, so that's why I'm a little hazy on it.
That's okay. But it works. Sounds good.
It works really, really well, though, for him.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think we covered this one to death. Terry's pink room. I can't get over it. He definitely hadn't had me going on that. I'm thinking to myself, I cannot believe he's doing this. Very good. Very good. Yeah, Tim?
I'll say it anyway. I with Terry. I mean, if they want to keep coming back in with their computer, because they do that and they browse porn all the time and they keep getting infected. Okay, but where I draw the line is when the keys are sticking and there's foreign matter on the screen. That's where I draw the line.
Oh, Timster had to go there. He was freaking debating whether to go there, weren't you? And then you decided to pull the trigger on that one. Thanks, Tim. We got the picture.
You should have just moved on.
All right. Let's end off on that pleasant note. Steve D, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, SMDSteve, or my blog, which is stevendmiko.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Terry, where can people find you?
You can find us at computerpro1, like the number one.com. And I'm usually in the chat room or on TeamSpeak on Podnutz.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
And Tim Kelly, how about you, Tim? Where can people find you?
TimsComputerFix.com and on Twitter at Timster_. We're also on TeamSpeak. Come to the Podnutz TeamSpeak. Server podnutz.instantts.net, port 4201.
That will make sense when you download TeamSpeak and it asks you for those credentials. So that's why you
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, could I say something real quick? I want to.
Yes.
Here recently, I sent a PM to, well, everybody in the forums, and it was basically about signing up for Podnutz and the episodes. It was a very heartfelt written PM to everybody, and the response we got from that, it was just tremendous. I mean, I just can't say how amazed I was at the response that I got from that PM. And by the way, Steve didn't know anything about that PM that I sent. I did that all on my own, but would like to make one thing clear. I have to say this. It's not the fact that Podnutz didn't have techs who wanted to be on the show. The simple format of that PM that I sent was just that guys weren't stepping forward signing up. It's not that nobody wanted to. So I just wanted to clear that up.
No problem. Yeah, that was a really nice, effective thing you did, Tim. I totally appreciate it. And yeah, the response has been pretty incredible. Podnutz Daily is filled up. So that's support for you. You know, you tell somebody what's needed, and they step up. So I'm really happy.
Thanks, guys, for responding that way. It's really great.
Yes, and thank you, Timster, for initiating such a thing.
Okay.
That's why we signed up tonight.
Great.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no more Podnutz. Oh, so.
Well, that's the way I see it. If there's no guests, then
there's no nuts.
No show.
Right.
I'm with you. Thank you, Tim. And thank everybody for being on the show and everybody who signed up for future episodes. It's going to be pretty packed. We got a lot of new guys coming on, too, for Podnutz Daily. So got some new blood coming in, which always is good. All right, guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for that. And that's going to be it, guys, for Podnutz for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I'll see you next